Season 1, Episode 3, The Firefighter Who Could Not Fight His Own Fire. In this story, we meet Leo, a firefighter who ran toward danger his entire career, only to find himself retreating from the greatest threat of all. The call came not from a blaring siren, but from a quiet landline. For 30 years, Leo's life was defined by alarms and action. He was a hero, a man who charged into burning buildings, whose hands were steady under pressure, and whose voice was a beacon of calm in chaos. He had carried people out of wreckage, comforted them in moments of panic, and always faced the flames head on. He was a rock to his crew, to his family, to his community. His strength wasn't just physical, it was an unshakable core of courage. The diagnosis of prostate cancer was a fire he had never trained for. The doctor's office was a sterile, unforgiving room with no fire hose, no escape route, and no team to back him up. The news was like a backdraft, a sudden, unexpected explosion that knocked the wind out of him. He felt his carefully constructed identity as a protector, a man of action, begin to crumble. He could fight a 5-alarm blaze, but with this fire within, and he didn't know how to put it out. He went home that day and felt like he was wearing a suit of someone else's skin. The vibrant, chaotic energy of the firehouse, the jokes, the camaraderie, it all felt a million miles away. He tried to hide it, but his wife Alina, she saw the smoke in his eyes. She would ask him what's wrong, and he would just simply say, "I'm fine." And it was the lie that he told himself every morning. Fine, well, that's what it was supposed to be. Fine was what his career demanded, but in the quiet moments, lying awake at night, he knew he was anything but fine. He was alone in a burning building, and he couldn't call for help. One afternoon, a young new recruit from the firehouse came by to drop something off. Seeing Leo staring blankly at the TV screen, he confessed his own fear before his first big fire. "I was terrified, sir, but you told me that courage isn't about not having fear, or not being afraid. It's about being afraid, but doing what you have to do anyway, and that we never, ever fight a fire alone." The recruit's words, intended to be a tribute, felt like a judgment. Leo saw his own advice reflected back at him, and he realized that he was not following his own code. That night, Alina found him in the garage, staring at his old firefighting gear. She didn't ask what was wrong. Instead, she put a hand on his shoulder and said, "We are a team. We're in the fire and in the smoke. And right now, we're in the smoke." Her words were the clarity that he needed. He helped him find support, and she helped him find a support group, a circle of men who met at a local community center. He was skeptical, thinking it might be a place of sorrow and despair. Instead, he found a different kind of firehouse. There were men there who had been through the smoke and who'd come out the other side. They spoke not of their illnesses, but of their lives, their triumphs, their defeats, and their fears. They shared their campfire cancer survivor stories. There was a retired mailman, a quiet man named Frank, spoke about his feelings of being forgotten. A man who had delivered messages but had got forgotten how to receive them. But in this circle, he found a new purpose, a new message to carry. He said his pro-state attitude wasn't about being an unshakable rock, but it was about learning how to lean on others. As Frank spoke, Leo felt the concrete walls that he had built around his heart begin to crumble. He realized that his strength wasn't in his silence, but in his ability to be vulnerable. That it took more courage to admit you were afraid than to pretend you weren't. He had found his new crew, his new command center. He went home that night and finally truly talked to Lena. He spoke of the fear of losing his identity, of not being able to protect his family, and as he spoke, he felt a profound sense of relief of a burning building being extinguished. He was still a fighter, but he was no longer fighting alone. He still had a long road ahead, but as he stood in the doorway of his home, he knew his courage hadn't gone anywhere. He had found a new kind of team, and he was ready to put his gear back on. He was ready to fight.